we'll get started. Yeah. So Jenny, thank you very much for taking the time to join this call. So see, we this is the analogy that I always use. We build race cars, but you guys are the ones that are users of the race car and the beneficiaries of the race car. So we want to understand, right? I mean, we don't get to race them. We only get to build them. So we want to understand from your perspective, what has gotten better, with load proof, and how was it before versus how is it now, and if you could please introduce about yourself, your role, and then we can get started there. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Jenny Helzer, and I'm the customer service manager for Quinoa Corp. So we manufacture quinoas, pastas, cookies, baking mixes, and both brands have been around for 35 years.
Okay.
And we ship both from one 3PL location in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
And we found that we were getting a lot of customer disputes about what was actually shipping on orders, when orders had left, what was included in loads.
Okay.
And because our large distributors use very different shipping methods in terms of who's picking up, who's organizing the freight, a lot can get lost in translation, especially when we're dealing with independent carriers.
Yeah.
And without that documentation, it was creating a lot of havoc for us financially and logistically.
Okay, great. And so what were the problem? Is it freight claims or retailer chargebacks, or is it like all kinds of overages, damages, shortages? What were the problems you guys were looking to solve at the time?
It was all of that. But it was just a lot of items either being received in incorrectly.
Yeah.
Having a mixed pallet structure often creates a lot of confusion on the receiving end.
Yeah.
And so we needed documentation to show what left, but it also allowed us to see where operational holes were on our side, because once you can know what is actually a legitimate dispute and what is not, that lets you see what items you need to be working on to improve on your side as well.
Great. Okay, that's so obviously that was the problem. So how did you guys run into load proof, and if you could tell that story, how did
For
that
sure,
solve
yeah.
that? Yeah.
Prior to moving to our new location, we had someone who was just physically scanning in and sending over those BOL as needed. It was maybe a few a month, but we took on a pretty ambitious warehouse move. And at that time, it was a new staff, it was a new process for us, and we just had such a high number of disputes, questions, issues, that our warehouse actually recommended that they had, the capacity to use LoadProof, and is that something we would be interested in? And we said yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So pretty much immediately, they started working on getting those previous documents scanned in, but also keeping those up to date for us. And what that did is it allowed us to have this repository where we could be disputing those things, those charges, instead of waiting for someone. We had that capacity really available at the ready, where we could respond to those within a matter of minutes or hours rather than days and weeks. And that was incredibly instrumental in not having those charges hanging around out there, but also eliminating a lot of the labor on our side. It eliminated a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Another area that it's been a huge improvement is in our Amazon program. Typically with Amazon, you dispute chargebacks by just arguing with Amazon, but now we've actually streamlined that further, and we're able to just provide the BOLs immediately, so that reduces the step with them as well.
Great. Okay, so how has life been now, right? Before it was chaotic, and you're dealing with all these things, and after load proof, how are the processes now and the situations now?
As I mentioned, it's just it's freed up a lot of time on our side, but like I said, it has also allowed us to see what is actually a problem and what is not, which is, I think, very concerning to us. When you start getting a lot of chargebacks or incorrect shipments, it is very concerning to think, what if these are all legitimate charges, and we really need to address this either through our ordering side or our warehouse processing side. But now we can see, okay, our efficiency rate is actually pretty good in what we're shipping. It's an issue that distributors and customers need to address in confirming how things are received in, because we do have this documentation that shows what shipped, when it shipped, what load it left on, and that's been incredibly beneficial.
Great, great. So when you guys were obviously introduced to LoadProof, right? There was this, they probably talked about it. Hey, this is this extra step that we have to do now, right? Capturing photos, and that's going to take some time and all that. So was it worth it at that time? Like, oh my God, we got to do this extra step. That means, is it going to slow down everything? And did you guys have those concerns? And how are those concerns addressed now? And how is that situation now?
Sure. I think initially, yes, there was a little bit of, okay, now we have to go back and scan in months. But once we got past that initial process, it is, I think it's a pretty seamless part of the warehouse processing. And, as I mentioned, it's much easier to have that built into your processing time
Yeah.
than to get a list of 50 BOLs that you need and have to have someone stop what they're doing, compile all those, look for issues. And, it's allowed us as the customer of our 3PL to have instantaneous access to that. So yes, there is scanning work that happens on the warehouse side,
Yeah.
but that is still much more efficient than someone having to stop what they're doing, get an email, oh, I have to compile these, I have to send these over.
Yeah.
Email those, get an email back. It's even with the bit of time that it takes, it's still a much more efficient system.
Okay, so before you would spend so much time, once the problem occurred, you would spend so much time collecting the data, but now it's done upfront. I mean, little extra time is spent, but all the time that you would spend after the problem has occurred and someone has reported, that is all saved. Now you immediately go back to the repository and you're able to share that information and boom, solve the. We call that as nipping it in the bud.
Yes, definitely. That's a much more succinct way to put it. Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That is very important because, right, especially, right, I mean, your reputation is at stake. One person is talking about that problem versus 10 people, 20 people, entire department, organization talking about that. When you nip it in the problem, it just it makes life so much better. It's not hanging out there.
Yes.
The charges.
I think that LoadProof has allowed us to be a much more proactive organization rather than a reactive one. And for us on the logistics side, that's a nice place to be when you have these issues, especially when there can be such a high dollar amount attached to it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate being able to know that we're catching it up front.
Great. And what are the type of the products that you guys ship?
So, like I said, we do quinoa and organic pasta on our Ancient Harvest brand.
Okay.
And then with Pamela's, we do baked items, so cookies, and then we have baking mixes, cakes, cookies, flours, and both brands are gluten-free brands, and both brands are heritage brands.
Okay.
So, like I said, they've both been around for around 35 years.
35 years, yeah. Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very. So it's all more, organic and healthy. Focusing on that health industry.
Yes, definitely.
Very interesting. So would you be able to, quantify approximately, what the dollar savings is? Just very, very high level. That gives a sense for, how much this, value this LoadProof brought in for you guys, right?
Definitely, since the time we've been using it, I would definitely say in the tens of thousands of just being able to dispute and reclaim those inaccurate charges that we were receiving on shipments.
Got it. So is that only from the chargeback, the overages, shortages, damages side, or is it how about the labor that's saved because now you don't have to react on a reactive mode. Now you're putting everything on hold and going and searching for this, right? How about the labor savings because of this system?
I mean, I would say it's definitely, we're a few months in, so I would definitely say it's in the thousands, and I see that continuing. And I also see, that there could be additional uses, ways that we can leverage LoadProof going forward that would give us, additional savings, additional time back, and that would be incredibly beneficial. And, another way that we receive chargebacks is through the SaaS freight, which is, just if things don't ship, being able to notify customers in advance to not book that freight on the truck. So that's another way that we've been able to dispute that as well, to say this is the weight and the volume of what actually shipped. That's been a savings as well.
So you guys, sorry, I didn't exactly follow that. So you guys are telling in advance the weight and the volume of the product that is being shipped?
So, for example, if a customer places an order and it has 10 pallets, but there's a shortage on that order,
Okay,
if we don't alert them in advance, then they book the freight for all 10 pallets.
got it.
And if the driver shows up and we're only shipping 7 of those pallets, we still get a chargeback on that missed freight.
Okay,
So, being able to, we alert them in advance to say these items will not be shipping, book your freight accordingly.
yeah,
But by having LoadProof, one, you're able to show the packing list and this is the items that actually shipped. But then you're also able to dispute it on the freight side by saying, no, we let you know that 7 pallets would be shipping. And so that's what you should have booked.
got it.
And we did give you advance notice.
Got it. So it looks like so your transportation service is provided by the food distributor, right? You're not getting the carriers yourself, or is it the 3PL getting the carriers for you guys?
In most cases, yes, it's booked by the distributor.
Okay, so that's why you have to tell the distributor in advance, saying that hey, even though the order was for 10 pallets, we have a shortage, so we are going to ship you only 7 pallets. So book the freight for only for 7 pallets.
Yes, so that way they can maximize their loads. Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so nice. Okay, so that has helped you guys to set that expectation up front and make it easy on them, so they know they're coming here to pick up only 7 pallets, and that also makes the relationship better, right? They'll be like there are no surprises, and hey, you know what, we are, because those guys are trying to optimize for the cube of the trailer or
Yes.
the truck. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So what other areas you're thinking LoadProof might be helpful for you guys?
Well, one area that I'm really interested in is how we can use LoadProof with ASN's advanced ship notices,
Okay.
especially with customers like Amazon,
Yeah.
where it is kind of a bit of a clunky, more manual process.
Yeah.
So that's one area that I would be very interested in seeing. And then just also the capacity of, being able to tag VOLs and packing lists as they're uploaded, so you can actually do more reporting with LoadProof.
Yeah.
And have it kind of sorted and organized that way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can do the export from LoadProof, right? You are aware of that
Yes.
capability, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You guys use
Yeah.
that? Has that been helpful?
Not yet.
Okay.
So that's something that I should definitely be looking into more.
Got it. And have you guys looked at using LoadProof on the inbound side as well? If you're receiving product from your vendors, making sure hey the product is arriving, the quality of the product that you're receiving from the vendors is great, and any pallet issues and things like that. That's what our
No.
customers do, because what happens is a lot of those customers start using it for outbound. They see the benefit and they're like, hey, you know what, I'm getting this much value from outbound, let me can I use this for inbound as well, because my vendors are shipping the product, I'm really not sure if all the product is of good quality, is that being shipped in perfect boxes, or I want to make sure there are no broken pallets and things like that, right?
No, we've not considered that.
Okay, something to think about, because
Yeah.
and a lot of this food, right? The food is pretty sensitive, and we have a lot
Yeah.
of these food customers, and they're all, your cleanliness is a big deal, right? I mean, they got to, everything needs to be perfectly clean, and all that. So have you guys, thought about hey doing trailer inspection, and things like that to make sure that right all that um, steps are followed before loading and things like that?
We have not, but that's definitely something to consider.
Okay. See, I mean, you guys are a little different, right? You're not running the facility yourself. I know you're working
Right.
through the 3PL. Usually in the warehouse they use LoadProof for many other things. I mean, right? I'm just trying to think. I think think from a because you guys own the brand and you're sitting off site, not at the warehouse. It makes sense from a ASN perspective. That's where you're seeing the opportunity from your what you guys need to get from the system.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm definitely open to any suggestions, but that's definitely, I have a call with our warehouse team next Tuesday, so
Okay.
let me talk to them and just see, now that they're getting more familiar with it, I'm assume they're using it for other customers at the warehouse level.
Yeah.
So I would love to talk to them and see what other capacities they think would be beneficial and how else they're using it.
Yeah, I mean, one more thing, what we can do is we can do a demo for you. If you want, we can do a demo for yourself, all by yourself, so you can learn all the capabilities that are available in LoadProof. And we can also do a demo. I mean, maybe, you might want to bring Ron for that demo meeting as well. Maybe we
Yes.
can also do a demo along with the tag rep that is, supporting you guys in the warehouse. So that way, you can, together brainstorm and see, hey, this makes sense for us, this makes sense for us, this doesn't make sense, and things like that. And we can, help you get more value out of LoadProof.
Okay, that would be incredibly helpful.
Okay, all right. I mean, so would you recommend as a customer support manager, would you recommend somebody else you use LoadProof, from based on your experience with LoadProof?
Yes, definitely, especially when you are in the position that we are, where you're not on site, and just need the ability to access that information quickly and have it stored. Yes, I would definitely recommend LoadProof.
Okay, great, great. I mean, looks like so you guys are only doing for bill of lading, right? Not for anything else, not for the quality of the pallet itself, to make sure, hey, is it stretch wrapped, perfectly?
At this time, no.
Not
No,
that.
we're not
Okay.
using it for anything other than just, and then occasionally, if we request a packing list,
Uh-huh.
then that's being uploaded at that time as well. But right now, it's just the bill of ladings.
Okay, okay, great. No, that's fine. I mean, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. If that's what the need is, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that means, the 3PL is doing a great job, shipping the product in perfect condition, because you guys don't get that complaint. It's not so much
Exactly.
about,
Yes.
it's so much about, hey, what was shipped and when was it shipped and what carrier was it shipped. It's so much about all the details that is available in the bill of lading.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, great. I mean, that's all I have. I mean, thank you very much for, taking the
Yeah.
time
Thank
to,
you.
share this feedback, and thank you very much for, being a customer of LoadProof, and, let us know, any way, anything else that we can do for you, being a, we are always about, creating the best software and creating the, best, experience for our customers. So, it's always exciting to hear from, someone that's using LoadProof day in, day out, and that's what, at the end of the day, that's what our mission is. So yeah, thank you very much for your
All right.
time, and
Thank you
thank you
so
for the
much. Yeah,
feedback.
definitely. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, okay, thank you,
All right.
have a
Thank
good
you.
Yeah, bye.